Hey guys, what's up? This is Phil Nemitz again, coming back to you with another video. Sorry it's been a while since my last video, but we've been kind of working on the web page and doing a little bit of writing and just kind of spreading our wings a little bit. In some of the last videos, I talked about some strategies and some different ways and approaches to profiting off of daily fantasy sports. Again, I'm a writer and a professional player and spend just about 70 to 80% of my day playing and thinking about fantasy sports, specifically daily fantasy sports. Um, Recently, I got a lot of feedback from some of our viewers, and they were asking some of the most basic general questions, and it kind of got me thinking that maybe since daily fantasy sports is such a new industry, that a lot of people really just have no idea what it is or don't know how to play. So today I want to kind of take some time and walk through the site here and fanday.com. The first thing, of course, is to get set up with an account. Pretty simple, just like every other site, fantasy or not, on the internet. Just a very simple form. I want to say make sure that you enter promo codes if you can find them. In daily fantasy sports, your profit is normally a very small margin. The goal is to play in the long term, play a lot of games. So any promo, deposit bonus, those kind of things, take advantage of those while you can because they really help out. Go out of your way to find them, and it helps you build your bankroll. Unless you're depositing a good bit of money to start out with, I would say that it's absolutely necessary. Banday's been running promos just about every month, trying to bring in a lot of new users, so take advantage of it while it's there. So I'm going to go ahead and log into mine. Of course, I already have an account, and go to the main lobby here. Right now, you know, MLB's in the playoffs. NFL is heating up. It's very busy right now. EPL is happening on Saturday mornings, and college football is also going on. I'm playing a lot of MLB has been my main sport. I've played a good bit of that. NFL is something that I haven't been a huge fan of before, but I do understand how important and popular it is with daily fantasy sports. You know, by far the most players are in NFL, so I've been learning a whole lot and now starting to play it pretty heavily. And EPL is good. As I mentioned some of my last videos, there's not a whole lot of experts and professional players, just a lot of soccer fans out there that if you use some good diligent research and play, you can have an edge over them. So a lot of the new sports that are up and going give those kind of opportunities to profit off of. The first thing I want to talk about is your bankroll. Um, if you're just now starting out in daily fantasy sports and you just kind of want to test it out, not make it if you're not like already made up your mind that you're going to make it a full-time living and you just want to play maybe casually on the weekends and your income comes from something else, I suggest, you know, starting with a little bit of money, 25 bucks or so, maybe 50, just to kind of know how to play and get your feet wet. Um, right now, my account balance is somewhere in the 500 and something dollar range, and that reflects what I actually have that I could withdraw. The rest of it I have in NFL this weekend and EPL and MLB for that matter. But as you can see, these are what you call posted matchups. These are in one versus one means that you're playing a single opponent. So everybody here on this lobby list is another user, and they are offering games that you can play against. So you can see here's one of my posts. I actually have 20 25-cent posts. And so this amount was already deducted out of my bankroll and posted on the lobby. So you can take a name like username Hitch Slap. I hope he doesn't mind me putting him on the video, but he has 4 50-cent posts, and you can choose from one of those. You'll see wins right here. Just means the amount of wins that user has in this particular sport. So like Michael P2007 doesn't have any wins, so he's could possibly be a very good guy to pick, because maybe he's never even played before. Not to call out Michael or anything, because you can got to be careful. Some of these players are very experienced and are playing Fan Day for the first time and have been playing on some other sites, or they just now got into NFL. They might be very experienced at MLB, understand Fan Day's site very well, and know how to know some good strategies, but are just posting or playing NFL for the first time. Your record versus is your performance and history against those particular players. And so that way you can track and kind of see who you're having success against. And that can be important, because if you have a particular way of playing a particular strategy and you're playing against somebody who has another kind of strategy where maybe yours is superior when those match up, then that could be a guy that you could seek out and play quite a few times. As a daily fantasy player, if you expect to win, I think it is very, very important that you post on this lobby. And the reason why is because you have a lot of new users, a lot of experienced users that come on for the first time, maybe playing with some promo money or something like that, and just pick games. So instead of posting their usernames here, they're just going to come and select. So by posting, you can, a lot of the experienced players do this because they know that inexperienced players will select them and they get in easier games. Profiting in the long term off of daily fantasy sports, as I said in some of my other videos, is about playing a lot of games against a lot of opponents and having an edge by doing research in the long run. So again, it's very important that you post, and I will get into how you post in a minute. Of course, the most important thing is to decide which sport that you want to play, and then you want to pay attention to over here on the right side, these categories. So you'll see where it says date and time, next games, and later games. What that is basically the time of the games in which you're deciding to play in, and the games that are the actual live NFL games that are involved in that category. So you can see all the games that are involved, and here it says 14 games. This is the Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern category, which is by far the busiest, most popular category on the site. And then you'll see later games is Sunday at 4:05 p.m. only involves 5 games, which will be some of the afternoon NFL games along with Sunday and Monday Night Football. Besides Thursday games, the first category, the Sunday at 1 p.m., is going to be every game besides Thursday. So after you do that, if you know which category you're in, you're going to want to create a lineup. I am a person who actually creates a what we call a dummy lineup, which means that I just go in and I just put in players randomly, and then I wait till I get news and injury reports as the games progress, and then I come back and edit my lineup to get my final version. The reason why I do that is so Fan Day requires you to have a completed lineup before you can enter into games. And I'll go as early as sometimes Monday or Tuesday before Thursday and Sunday's big games, where I'll start entering into games versus other users and other opponents without having my lineup set, if that makes sense. Right now you can see this is pretty much an edited final lineup. I'm going to double check and make sure that some of these guys are actually going to play that might be somewhat hurt, and then come back and check to make sure that the matchups are there, and just kind of rethink my general approach. So right now this is almost final. Is a good way to put it. But so if you'll see up here, just double check again that you're on the right category and time. And this is lineup 1. You can create as many lineups as you'd like. I'm a person that plays every day, so I just put in 1 lineup per sport normally. A lot of people enter 5 or 6 into some of the bigger tournaments, and that's just a strategy. I recommend putting in your very best lineup on a daily basis if you're playing a lot. If you're playing just every now and then, maybe once a week, once a month, then it's probably a good idea to diversify by putting in multiple lineups. But again, it's not my strategy. So what you do is, this is the all filter, and it brings up, this is a filter by salary, the amount, and it brings up all the players that are available to pick from. Most of you know how to play daily fantasy sports, or at least fantasy sports or fantasy football. So I'm not going to go too much into the strategy right now of picking your lineup. That's a whole nother conversation for a whole nother day. But I just kind of want to show some of the filter features and things like that, so you know how to use the site and are comfortable navigating it. So right here again, this is all players with their salary. You can go to by position, so you can go just pull up quarterbacks, and then you can filter even more by going to the particular game. So if I go to Dallas-Houston game, it's going to have Romo and Fitzpatrick and all the backups at quarterback. Then I can go to the running backs of that particular game. And that's very helpful when you know which matchup you really like and want to just pick from that particular team. If you go to some of these categories by column, of course, this is the opponent, and this is a player rank, which I believe is just by their fantasy points per game, which is updating and changing constantly. Opponent rank is going to be, let's say, go to another team here, another lineup. So let's say Monte Ball is playing Arizona. So this would mean Arizona is 4th against running backs, which is Monte Ball. Fantasy points per game is his average fantasy points on this site this year, and the last game, how many fantasy points did he get? And then this, of course, is their salary. You can't see it here because this is the amount that I have left over. As you see, it's a salary budget, but the total amount that you can put in is $50,000. So you want to do that as efficiently as possible by putting in the required positions for each sport that's here. For football, this is pretty standard that you'll see on a lot of other sites, or Yahoo, ESPN kind of thing. So again, you put in the best lineup you can. If you just want to do it for the sake of putting posts, out there, or selecting matchups, or getting into tournaments, you can quickly just enter in guys, and that's what we call a dummy lineup, which is what I do. And then come back through the week as you get news and information and learn more, and switch it out. So I'm going to go back here to you can actually post matchups from this screen as well. Emergency sub means, I'm pretty sure it means that if a guy gets hurt at the last second, you can switch in any player for that guy and it'll change him across all your lineups. So if you have 4 lineups out there and you have Peyton Manning in all 4, find out Peyton Manning's not playing, you can quickly throw in Aaron Rodgers and it'll switch him for all 4 lineups instead of having to do it manually for each one. So that's where emergency sub comes in. And again, you can post from here, but I'm going to go back to the lobby right now and talk about entering into matchups now. So now that I have a lineup created, as you can see, lineup 1 is saved. If I had more lineups, they would appear right here, but it's saved on the lobby. So let's say I want to select a game against CC Shields, who is posting 12 25-cent games. As you can tell, he has 16 wins, so he's somewhat of a novice, and I'm 2-0 against him historically. So I'm going to select right here, make sure everything is good to confirm, and I'm entered in that game. You see it lit up green, and then if I go to my matchup screen, it will show, and I'll come back to my matchups in a little while, but I can go to my scheduled tab and I can see all the games that I have coming up. And you will see the CC Shields game right there. So return to the lobby, and I'm going to show you how to post first, and then now that I've shown you how to select a game. So you can post matchups here, and what you can do is pick how many at each stake level that you want to show up at the lobby. Make sure your category is right. It is in the save settings because I've been doing other work at this category, but you always want to double check and just make sure you're getting in the right game. So this is the Sunday at 1 o'clock game, teams involved, etc. So if I want to post, let's say 20, 25-cent games, I just kind of would either manually type or scroll up. And I normally put in various stake levels just to get a bunch of different users and get into some bigger games and stuff like that. I normally do a $50 and a $25 and quite a few 10 really at each stake level. But for now, I'm just going to show you the quarter post. And then you can choose how many times you want an opponent to select you. And this can be, I normally do unlimited right now, but if you have the same guy who's just picking all of your games that you're posted and you want to limit a single user to, let's say, 5 selections, and you can just simply put in the number 5 and it'll save it there for you. I normally do unlimited because it hasn't been a problem for me, but it's a nice feature to have if somebody's trying to take advantage. So I'm going to click post 20 matchups and confirm, and it's going to take me back to the lobby screen, and you'll see it lit up green, the 25 cents that it added. And I'm going to scroll down and see if I can find my games. And here is, you can see I posted 20 before, so here's the other 20 on the lobby. So I'm going to go to the Maltese tab now that I've shown how to post and select single games versus a single opponent. Before I go to Maltese, let me say again, if you want to be a good player in the long run, you want to play a lot of inexperienced users that don't have a lot of wins, or guys that maybe you've had a good track record against. Play a whole bunch of different ones every week. So that way, if you have a bad week, other people are having bad weeks, and maybe you'll only lose 40% of your games. And as long as you're winning somewhere close to 56 or 57%, you're profiting. So if you're a good player in the long run and you follow this strategy, then results will show. So let me go over to Maltese, and what this is I like to play a Maltese. It's basically, if you play in a lot of different Maltese, it's the same thing statistically as playing even more 1 versus 1 games. So as you can see, these are all the different stake levels and the amount that's in it. You can also filter these. You can change it to a 12-man or remove 12-man and 6-man. I have all filters selected right now, but I'm going to put these back. And this is the amount of people in the Maltese, and these are the payouts. So either the winner, so if there's 12 people here and winner take all means that one guy is going to win, he's going to win the entire pot. Top third means that the top third of 12, which would be 4, is going to get paid out. Top half means that 6 of 12 is going to get paid out. So those are very important to pay attention to as well. And I like to mix it up and do a whole bunch of different ones. So maybe if I have a very good night, I'll pay off and winner takes all. If I have an average night, then I don't lose out because I'm still winning my top halves. And that's part of diversification as well. Very, very important with bankroll management and being a successful long-term daily fantasy player. So it's good to know who are in these games. You get to know some of the names that you're playing against, and from 1v1 you can know your track record against them. So let's say I click on NFL Sayers here, which is kind of neat. It's named after Gale Sayers, so they have a lot of Hall of Fame names that kind of let you remember which games you're in. You can see the 10 people that are in it. You can click on their user card and see how their wins are in each particular sport. He's a brand new user, so doesn't have anything, but you can see the payout structure. So if it's I believe that we are in a top third payout. See the payout structure and how it's paid out. And you can check on some of the different components of the game that way. Okay, so tournaments, most daily fantasy sports players know about tournaments. I'm not a big tournament player, but normally jump in one of the bigger ones, depending on how confident I'm feeling about my lineup. And so this is a $500 tournament, 50 are in there, people out of 111 so far. So if you click on this, you can also see all the people that have entered so far and recognize some of the names, but it doesn't really matter when you get into bigger tournaments because there's always going to be quite a few really good players in them. And if you're first time playing, you can jump in a free game to to learn or to check it out. So that's basically how you play, how you enter into matchups. Of course, first you want to know your sport, choose a lineup, and then get into a whole bunch of different matchups. I highly recommend diversifying into one versus one, even though the allure of a big tournament payout is very enticing to a lot of people. If you want to be successful over the long run, playing a lot of different games against a whole lot of people. I cannot stress that enough. Now that we've went over that, I'm going to go over a couple of the features of the site just to show you some kind of interesting things. The Daily Duo is, they have one for every sport, which is kind of cool. It's more of a fun thing than like a strategic play. But you can see right now it's Russell Wilson and Marshawn Lynch. They play the Redskins on Monday Night Football versus Dalton and A.J. Green, which play New England on Sunday Night Football. So you can pick which one you believe is going to score the most fantasy points as a duo, and if you win, the system will actually match you up against another user, and whoever gets the most points out of that duo wins the contest. So I'm going to pick Seattle this weekend, and it now shows that there's 24 different selections. So if four more people pick the Bengals, it'll match that final one up against mine, and I'll have a game. So that's just kind of a fun thing, and lets you think about some of the stars that are in the league. Um, I want to pay a little, show a little attention to pending balance. This is a something that you get for signing up, and also through promo codes. I've used all of mine, but probably I need to go searching for some more promos as well. But that's something that as you continue to play, um, will release to your account and can really help with your statistical chance of becoming successful. Because again, the goal is to play in a whole lot of different games, and that's something that pending balance is something that you benefit from when you play in a lot of games. Fan Day chips, as far as I understand it, I haven't gotten too far into it yet, but just allows you to purchase Fan Day accessories if you're into that kind of stuff. As you play more games, it'll start to add up. It'll start to become a pretty high total. Traded in for T-shirts and different kinds of things like that I've seen. It's kind of a cool little feature. The leaderboard here has points, which just shows this is from Thursday Night Football, where the Packers slaughtered the Vikings yesterday, and you can see just kind of how the top performers were. You can see how the top users were from yesterday. I am ashamed that I'm not on that list, but I think I did okay yesterday and still have a lot of room left. Rankings, as you can see, I'm number 2. I'm very ambitious to be the top dog on this site, so I have a long way to go. And then NFL news, you can keep up with stuff that's happening. Although you're going to want to always do very thorough off-site research, because a lot of people see the same news, and the guy that goes out of their way to find the most detailed stuff is going to be most successful. So finding good news, if you're a fantasy player, you already know this, but when it becomes daily and you're playing against a lot of different people in a lot of different sports, the little details, whether lefty versus righty in baseball, linebacker size versus running backs, the line of scrimmage, things like that really come into play. Refer a friend is always good. If you bring people to the site, you will get pending balance, you will get chips and extra money in your account, which is another really good way if you want to become a long-term player. I cannot stress enough to take advantage of those promos, play a lot of games, and let things happen over time. Don't get impatient. So if you go to my matchups here, I just kind of want to show how The live games are the ones that are going on lately. Here's all my opponents. So this is from the Thursday night game. Green are ones that I'm winning. Red. So see, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing too bad. Didn't make the leaderboard, but I have a high percentage of wins and things like that. Scheduled are the games that are coming up. You'll see the NFL and some MLB, EPL games that I'm entered into that are going to be happening. And here's my daily duo history. You can go there and see some of your past games, bring up scorecards, see how you did against a particular opponent. And so it's kind of a neat little feature as well. Fan Daily has some news and different kinds of things like that, where you can go read some articles and just it's kind of a fun feature, I believe, but sometimes they have some strategies and things there. So anyway, appreciate you guys taking the time to listen to this, and hopefully it helps you learn how to play. If you have no idea, you found it enlightening, or hopefully if there were some things that could just clear up in the fantasy sports world, come find me on FanDay. Screen name is PH Nemitz. A lot of the sites have a very similar strategy to this one. So just by watching this video, if you want to go play on another site as well, then it should be close to the same thing. I look forward to releasing some more strategic videos that get into more detail about what I think it takes to win, and so we can kind of share some of our strategies out there. So again, this is Phil Nemitz, and I thank you for taking the time to listen to this walkthrough video on how to play daily fantasy sports.